right, good morning, second grade. Today for science, we are going to be talking about observing and comparing traits. So today we are going to be looking at chapter 7 in unit 2 of life cycles, which is going to be talking about traits, survival, and differing environments. All living things can be described by their traits: hairy bodies, long ears, fast running, or spotted colors. Traits usually help an organism survive in its environment, but if the environment changes, a helpful trait may no longer help. In the open grasslands of Africa, giraffes have room to move their large bodies around. They can also see long distances to watch for predators. In the grasslands, a giraffe's long legs and long neck are helpful traits. But what if the giraffe's environment changes? What if the open grasslands became thick tropical forests because it started to rain more and more over a long time? The giraffe would not survive as well then. Its long neck and long legs would get tangled in the tree branches and vines. It would be harder for the giraffe to see predators. The giraffe's traits that were helpful in the grasslands would no longer be helpful in the tropical forest. Environmental changes affect survival. Air pollution and peppered moths. Peppered moths have white wings and tiny black specks. During the day, the moth rests on tree trunks. The trees are light-colored. The peppered moth blends in so well that birds and other predators cannot see it. These moths survive because they are camouflaged. Moths that are camouflaged are hidden. Some peppered moths are born with black wings. Since the tree trunks are light-colored, the dark peppered moths are easily seen by birds. The dark moths are eaten more than the light moths. Few of them survive long enough to reproduce and pass on their physical traits. Because of this, there are fewer members of the population with dark wings. Scientists have debated about this moth for a long time. Some, but not all, scientists suggest a possibility about them. In the 1900s, humans began using coal to power factories. Burned coal makes black powder in the air called soot. Trees became covered in black soot. The peppered moth's environment had changed. In this changed environment, the light form of the peppered moth was much easier for birds to see against the dark tree bark. The light moth was no longer camouflaged. Birds ate more and more light moths. Black moths had better camouflage. They survived to make more offspring. Soon the dark moth was common and the white moth was rare. The change in the peppered moth's environment caused a helpful trait to become harmful. Today, factories do not make as much soot. The tree trunks have returned to their normal light color. The light form is once again a helpful trait. It is more common than the dark form. Climate and elephants. Today, elephants live mostly in parts of Africa and Asia. These environments are warm. They provide plenty of vegetation to eat. But what if the climate changed over time? What if it grew much colder? Most elephants would not survive. They do not have the traits to survive in cold, snowy climates. Yet, close relatives of elephants did once live in such climates. How? They had long, thick fur and smaller ears. The ears of modern elephants are big to help them stay cool. Blood vessels circulate through the ears, carrying heat. When the elephants fan their ears in the breeze, they lose some of that heat. If the climate changed today, would elephants survive? What if a baby elephant happened to be born with thicker, longer hair or smaller ears? Would it be more likely to survive? It could pass those traits on to its offspring. Over time, its descendants would be better adapted for the cold and snow than other kinds of elephants. Human explorers and dodo birds. Living things themselves can cause environmental changes. The dodo was a species of bird that lived on a single island in the Indian Ocean. The dodo was adapted to living on the ground and could not fly. It ate fruits that fell from trees. Adult dodos made their nests on the ground. Before humans came to the dodo's island habitat, the dodo had no predators. Explorers settled on the island in the 1600s. Humans were a new species that entered the environment and caused it to change. They began hunting the dodo and taking dodo eggs from nests for food. The dodos could not fly away. They had no traits that helped the species live in an environment with human predators. Eventually, dodos became extinct. Melting ice and polar bears. Polar bears live in the Arctic Circle. Their habitat is the land and ocean that cover the northern parts of Earth. Polar bears spend most of their time on large floating ice sheets. They hunt for seals on the ice sheets. Polar bears must capture many seals to survive the cold winters. Earth's climate is getting warmer and the Arctic ice sheets are melting. The ice sheets today have less surface area than they did 30 years ago. Many of the ice sheets are smaller and separated by open water. This means that polar bears must swim long distances to find habitats for hunting seals. Many polar bears are not able to find places to hunt. Without food, they cannot survive. Remember, all living things are fit to live in their environment. They have traits that ensure survival. But when the environment changes, only those individuals with certain traits will survive and reproduce. If not enough individuals have the right traits for survival, the species will become extinct. All right, and we are going to end there today for our lesson.